Hello there and welcome. Come on in to my magical library. I am so glad you could join me today. We're about to go on a little journey into the world of words. And today we're going to learn some really powerful new spells, or, what you might just call English words. So, are you ready to get started? Ah, look! The wizard's book. It's chosen our lesson for the day. It looks like we'll be exploring 3 very special chambers here in the library. And you know what? In each one, we're going to discover a brand new kind of word magic. All right, let's begin the adventure.
Okay, first stop, the workshop. Let's head on over. Oh dear. It looks like some of my magical items aren't quite working right. You know what, though? This is actually the perfect chance to learn our very first spells. These are words we use to describe things that are, well, broken.
Here, take a look at this potion bottle. Do you see that? See how the purple liquid is dripping out? Well, when something like this happens, we say it is leaking. It's a super useful word for any time a liquid, maybe water from a pipe or, a magical potion, is escaping from where it's supposed to be. Yeah, you can see it right there. The liquid's coming out of that tiny little crack. So we'd say, the potion bottle is leaking. How about you try saying that with me? Ready? The potion bottle is leaking. Great job. Well done.
All right, now let's have a look at my crystal ball over here.
And you know, a crack like this, it might mean it won't show the future correctly. So we can say, the crystal ball is cracked. Okay, it's your turn to say it. The crystal ball is cracked. Excellent work. And for our last one in the workshop, let's check out this magical heater. Now, it's supposed to keep the whole workshop nice and warm, but it's just not working right. So when a machine or a device doesn't work the way it's supposed to, we call it faulty. This can happen to anything, really. Your phone can be faulty, or even your computer. So faulty just means there's some kind of problem with it. We could say, the magical heater is faulty. It doesn't work properly. And properly is just another way to say correctly. Okay, let's practice this one. The magical heater is faulty. Fantastic. Wow, wonderful work in there. All right, let's move on to the next chamber. This is the common room. And wow, it's a bit messy in here, isn't it? Looks like we're gonna need some cleaning charms. So right here, we're gonna learn some words for keeping our spaces nice and tidy. So with cleaning chores, some of them are pretty small and simple. They're perfect for doing every single day. We call those daily chores. Then you have the bigger ones, the ones we only do about once a week. And those, you guessed it, are weekly chores. Let's start with a daily charm, shall we? You see all this dust on the counter here? The magic spell we need for this is wipe. So to wipe something just means to clean it by rubbing it with a cloth. Simple as that. This is exactly the kind of small task you might do every day just to keep things clean. So you can say, I wipe the kitchen counter every day. Let's try that one together. I wipe the kitchen counter every day. That is a very useful and simple spell indeed. Okay, now for one of the bigger weekly charms. Just look at all the dust on this carpet. For a job like this, we need a special word, vacuum, and that means to clean the floor using a vacuum cleaner. And since this is a much bigger job, we'd probably say something like, we vacuum the carpet once a week. It's a really powerful spell for getting rid of all that dust and dirt. Let's practice. We vacuum the carpet once a week. Great job! You are learning so quickly. This is amazing. Okay, for our final chapter today, let's head over to the Magical Salon. In here, we're going to learn the transformation phrases you need to get the perfect haircut. You know, talking to a hairdresser or a hair wizard, as I like to call them, it's actually really easy. First, you just say hello, then you sit down and explain what you'd like. So let's learn just a few simple phrases to make sure you get the style you really want. So, what if you don't really want a big change, right? What if you just want to cut a tiny little bit of hair just to make it neater? Well, the magic word for that is a trim. Here's a really great sentence you can use. You could say, I'm letting my hair grow, so I just want a trim. And that tells the hairdresser to only cut a very, very small amount. Ready to try? Let's just say the important part. I just want a trim. Perfect. Okay, now what about that hair that hangs over your forehead? This part is interesting because it actually has two common names. So in British English, it's called a fringe, but in American English, it's called bangs. And guess what? Both of them are totally correct. So if this is the style you want, you can say, I would like to have a fringe, or you could say, I would like to have bangs, and poof, just like that, a magical new look. Let's try the first one. I would like to have a fringe. Beautiful. And just like that, we're back in the main library. You have learned so many new spells today. But I want you to remember something very important. The most powerful magic of all is practice. Using these new words is exactly what makes them stronger. So how about we practice right now? Just think about your own home for a second. What weekly chores do you do? Do you vacuum the carpet? Or maybe you do something else? Go on, try to say your answer out loud. Okay, let's do a quick review of all the amazing spells you learned. So for broken things, we have leaking, cracked, and faulty. For chores, we learned wipe and vacuum. And for haircuts, we now know a trim and fringe or bangs. You've really done so well today. Just remember how much you've learned today. Please don't ever be afraid to use your new words. Every single word you learn is a new spell that you can cast. So now, go on. Go and make some magic. Until I see you next time, keep learning.